Hey everybody, Shane here, and in this video you're going to see exactly how I accomplished this curved wall from the rough carpentry to the finished result. All the materials I used, exactly how I did it, how I troweled it, and how we tied it into the existing plaster. So you can see here that we didn't do this rough carpentry work, somebody else did, but we're going to take it from here and we're going to bond it into that existing plaster, and we're going to be using drywall to give us our foundation, give me something to work off of. And in a few minutes I'm going to show you another video with the drywall on already. We're using 1/4" drywall, and before you have negative things to say about that, just hear me out on this next video and see how I've accomplished that, and how are we going to get this whole thing to jive and be a permanent structure, nothing temporary. So let's give me a second here and let's get into that. All right, so Shane here, and we're back at this old mansion here in Walkerville, and we are going to be working on this curved wall today, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how we're going to accomplish the curve and what we're going to do. And what we want is we want it to mimic the existing curved wall. So we, in the previous video, you saw how this was framed. There's a 2x4 about every 3 inches in this wall, and there was no room to allow me to put a 3/4 inch plaster wall in this. So what we decided to do is use, and I know that if you know drywall, you're going to understand that 1/4 inch drywall isn't acceptable for a finished wall. But hear me out on this one. We did use 1/4 inch drywall to get the curve, but before that, and what you're not seeing is I put a bonding agent on every single 2x4 in this wall, and then I put drywall compound on every single stud about 1 inch thick, and then I laminated this curved wall on, and then we put the screws in. So this wall right now is not necessarily a 1/4 inch wall anymore. And the challenge is, how are we going to tie in this drywall to the existing plaster? And that's what we're going to show you today. And if you also notice, you can see the 2x4s behind it, as this 1/4 inch drywall turns around. By the time we're done with this, you're not going to see that at all. We're going to have this troweled in with a very, very thin coat, probably about 1/16 of an inch of Durabond. And I'm going to use Durabond typesetting compound to bond all this together, and so we'll take it from there. All right, I'm going to just stop this for a moment to talk about something that I seem to have missed recording, and that is, if you notice behind me, there's some wood that in the original construction that held up some trim within the plaster. There's cracks in the plaster. Beyond those cracks and beyond the plaster is riblath, so it's metal wiring, and you need to chase those cracks. And what I mean by chasing the cracks is to make them much larger and deep. And we've chased those cracks, opened them up right down to the riblath. The objective is now to take that bonding adhesive, and we use Quikrete Cement Bonder. It's a polyvinyl acetate. It's just a fantastic product, as well as any polyvinyl acetate PVA. They're all going to work well, and we have literally painted in that adhesive into the cracks on top of the wood. Look where the drywall is transitioning into the existing plaster. If you notice, I have a minimum of ½ inch gap, usually between ½ inch and ¾ inches is what I like to leave it. And I have painted in that adhesive on the butt joint of the drywall, in behind the drywall. The drywall is lifted off the board of that particular section by about ½ inch, so I can sort of get a key in behind it. And I've just literally coated everything that I could coat with the PVA, and even the flat joints. You can see where the drywall meets itself. You can see where I've painted on already some polyvinyl acetate. And that is going to just make sure everything is permanently bonded together. And that's really the trick and the key to bonding plaster in with drywall and vice versa. If you're not using any sort of a bonding adhesive, then most likely it's going to your repair is going to fail in the future. So well, let's get back to some video, and we'll take it from there. All right, so now you're going to watch me mix some Durabond 90 typesetting compound. This is I mix all my dry compounds the same way, and this you might think this is a little bit silly to watch me mixing this stuff up, but you know, it's all in the details. And if you noticed, I had put water on the bottom of that bucket to start, so it's always cold, clean water, never dirty water. Dirty water acts as an accelerator, and it'll make this compound set up faster. Any compound, whether it's gypsum or Durabond or you know, sheetrock 45, it doesn't matter. It'll all act as an accelerator. And so what I want to do is I want to mix this Durabond to a fairly liquidy state. This is just my method. Maybe somebody else does something different. That's fine, but this is how I do it. And the reason why I do it this way, and then I add the compound, then I start stiffening it up after, is because I want the bottom of my bucket to be thoroughly mixed as well, not just, you know, the top portion of it. And that happens quite a bit if you just try to mix it all at the same time. You're not going to get the bottom of the bucket thoroughly mixed. So then when you come down to the bottom of the bucket, you try and scoop some material out, and you end up getting dry bits and pieces and chunkies and that sort of thing. So this is what I do to avoid that. And you'll notice that we just add in, we were constantly mixing and adding in a little bit at a time, thickening this product. And we're going to get it to a nice, good, applicable state, where it doesn't slip off of our hocks, and it's controllable, I suppose. And I also have 3 buckets, one for the material, one for the clean cold water, and another one for cleaning. So 2 of the buckets have water. One is cleaning water, one is my mixing water, and one is for the material. I never mix up those buckets. That'll be a disaster waiting to happen. Go ahead. Alright, so the objective is to get all this filled up with the Durabond 90 typesetting compound. We're going to fill between the drywall and the existing plaster, all the cracks. We're going to even go right over top of this wood. And the magic to this repair is it's called PVA, polyvinyl acetate. And that is an adhesive for parging cement. And that's exactly what we're using today. What we've done is we've applied that PVA to the butt end of this board to create a seal on it.
and we're basically going to glue the 90 or the Durabond typesetting compound into this. And I'd like to submit that if we didn't use PVA, the 90 would, the Durabond would probably do very well just on its own. But you know, I always say we don't build temporary work. We want to build forever work. So that's what we're going to do, and just you can just watch me fill this in, and we'll take it from there. And you probably can't see, but this board, as it curves around, isn't touching this framing in there. So what I want to do is I want to slap it hard enough that I literally create a key on the back side of this board as well, not just surface coating anything. And you can already see how much compound I've used just in the first 5 seconds of this repair. They're going to have some nice big beefy trim going on this, but you know, I don't know exactly how far, so same thing with these cracks. It's not good enough just to be gentle with it. We want to make sure we're getting that right as deep as it can possibly go. And I'm not too worried about making it nice and pretty yet. We'll get to that. I think before I go any farther, I do want to tape these joints here. And even the joints, we applied the polyvinyl acetate. And not that we need to, but we're just doing it for extra measure. And again, this is the only time you'll see me use this type of fiberglass, is when I'm using a Durabond typesetting compound. I would never use it with drywall compound. This one up here too. All this ripped paper, that was all PVA that we applied to that. Create that seal. Right up behind that trim. And this, if you can't tell, if you can't see it, it's pretty hot up here. I'm sweating up a storm. rib lap that's in here. And I considered using a rib lap for this repair, but I just didn't feel that there was enough room to get a proper wall and with rib lap. Paper nice and heavy. You don't even have to clean it out. A couple of things. I don't necessarily have to put any sort of bonding tape into this because we have the PVA. We're going to have the Durabond typesetting compound. That's going to probably, that would be a nice solid transition, but I'm going to use some fiberglass anyways just to strengthen that up. And before I do that, we got lots of time. We have probably a good hour to work with this stuff. Use that at your knife, Tom. No, you're up. Like that. Thank you. And I'm just going to take this and just score it here and there, probably every 3 inches down, halfway, and you're going to see why I'm doing this here in a second. This is how we're going to create a curved tape joint. And and I know that this stuff is self-adhesive, sticks on one side. I never ever use it for that characteristic. So there's the start of our, you see I've cut just half of it. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it here. right. Now I'm going to have the cut edge on the top because that's the part that's turning. And we're just going to tuck that right up into the right side here. And that cut will just allow me to turn it around the corner here. And I'm just working too far away from my work. Wrap that right around. You get it there, or you want me to get there? I got it. Okay. So while Tom's finishing that side, and he's got some that really heavy fill there. So we have this this Durabond fairly dense, and made it dense like that so we could get this big heavy fill going on it. And we're just about out. I was going to mix it one more time, and you can probably within the first 40 minutes you can mix Durabond one more time if it's getting a little too stiff on you. But that's it. And but I'm not going to mix this one more time. This is pretty much down to the end, so I'm just going to trowel on what we have available here. And my objective is to, you know, I want to get maybe a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch coating. I'm going to use this this Nella full trowel, and the reason why I'm using this Nella full trowel opposed to my Curry full trowel is the full trowel. The Curry full trowel is a beautiful trowel, but it's a little on the thin side. The Nella trowel is stiffer and probably a little more conducive to cement work. So that's what I'm going to do with this stiffer compound. And I'm just basically using up our stuff. I'm going to make some more. And that's probably about 3/16. But I just don't have enough material to work with, so we're gonna have to stop and mix another bucket. So we're gonna take some of this 6-inch Fibafuse. That's what it's called. Take a good look at that. Now we're just gonna embed that into the both sides of this. right in there. And the nice thing about Fibafuse, once we get it out some more Durabond going, we're going to sandwich this right in there, and the Durabond is going to just fill that Fibafuse right up, and it's going to become a part of this wall, and that'll just give us another extra safe measure. If I didn't put it in, I don't think it would crack. I think we would be totally fine with the PVA and the typesetting compound, but with a little extra measure, then we know it's not going to crack. All right. So we're just going to put one more coat of Durabond on this round wall. Just going to try and get out this little bit of wow that I had in there, and that's my only objective for this wall today. And then tomorrow we're going to put a coat of Diamond Veneer Plaster on it. Alright, so we're up here at the curved wall that we've been working on over the past couple of weeks. And we definitely have our basic shape. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Because we built it with Durabond, we needed to coat it with the polyvinyl acetate, which is the magic potion for any plaster work, any repair work that you do. And now I'm going to coat this with a Diamond Veneer Plaster.
Just before we continue, I just wanted to make sure that you had an understanding that what you're not seeing is that we coated this Durabond coated wall with PVA, with the cement bonding adhesive on top of the Durabond, because we're going to coat it with a Diamond Veneer Plaster, and Diamond Veneer Plaster won't stick to the Durabond. So in order to get that product to stick, we're using more adhesive. So if you haven't got the drift by now, adhesive is part of our lives. We use it every single day. We use it on every single application, and it is our magic potion. So we have taken a roller, we've rolled this whole wall with the Quikrete Cement Bonder, and then we're going to get into applying the Diamond Veneer.
Again, we're gonna put one thin, sloppy coat on, and we're gonna wait for about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna double back on it. And you have probably just about an hour to work with Diamond Veneer, but not anything more than an hour. After that, you're gonna start losing the compound. It's gonna get too hard, and so let's get started. Another little tidbit about Diamond Veneer is it's 10 times harder than a line finish coat. Probably also 10 times harder to apply. And I don't want those lines in it. I'm going to get those a little heavier to get that out. That. That's probably about 1/8 of an inch thick there. Okay, well, I'm not going to go any thinner. Should be wearing gloves. The stuff's a little on the caustic side. Suck the moisture out of your skin. So I guess it's been about 25 minutes since I put this first coat on, and now I'm doubling back. Putting another coat on with the same batch. I didn't make a different batch. I'm using the very same batch of plaster.
All right, well, this is a different project, but we neglected to record any water troweling on that curved wall, and I wanted you to get a complete picture of what we did to accomplish that curved wall. And water troweling is very important. We water troweled the Durabond 90 before I applied the veneer plaster, and now we're also water troweling the veneer plaster, and this is also the magic that needs to happen to get a nice flat wall. And so basically after about an hour and a half of mixing that diamond veneer, this gypsum literally turns to stone, and you can see just how hard I'm pressing. And I'm using a felt brush or a blister brush or a wet sanding brush, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting this gypsum wall, which is diamond veneer. I'm getting it wet, and I'm taking that trowel and I am just burnishing it. I'm taking a little bit of the fat out. You can see that little bit of excess material, and I'm filling in little nooks and crannies and little tiny holes, and I am just basically scraping it flat. Water troweling is probably my favorite thing to do in plastering. It's it's a lot of work using some elbow grease there, but it's I don't know. I get some a sense of accomplishment when I do the water troweling. So I'll just let you watch that for a second, and then we'll get back to that curved wall. All right, and so here we are at the finished result. This wall has already been primed. So that diamond veneer set up for, we let it set up for a couple of days. You can paint diamond veneer the very next day if it's dry. That's not a problem. And we primed it, and it looks great. We did use a little bit of drywall compound just to look for any little imperfections before we primed it. We buttoned it up, but it was pretty minor. And you can see the symmetry between the two walls, the one that we were trying to mimic and the one that we built, and I think they're pretty similar. So I hope you got something out of this video. I know we had already made a previous video on this curved wall, but not in this detail. And so moving forward, this is what we're hoping to do, is to get real in depth with certain skills, and we hope you get something out of it. So until next time, we'll see you then.